Welcome, one and all, to Season 3, Episode 1 of If You Condone This Shit, They're Gonna Own Your Shit. And we got Big Kenny at the mound. He's coming back, swinging.
What's up, Scally?
I am doing good, buddy. How about you?
I'm all right, bro. One day at a time.
Yeah, well,
Look at all the bullshit on the news, you know?
Yeah, well, hey, what's the topic off the top of your head? I'll let you draw first blood in this season. What's the topic on your brain that is putting a strain on it?
All that money going to these different countries when we need help in this country, you know?
Oh, well, you know the United States ain't going to help its own. Hey, this is you ever heard of capitalism, man? Huh? It's survival of the fittest.
This is crazy. That is so crazy. Look at your neighborhoods in the bad neighborhoods and tell me, do these streets need fixing? You know, they're talking about aid. Send that aid over. You know what I mean? Where that aid at?
Well, fixing the streets is all about the local people. So the people that you vote for are the motherfuckers that need to be doing. Hey, I live in a nice neighborhood. They paved the whole fucking street, put bumps in the road so kids can't speed up and down the road. You know, it's all about where you live, baby. It's all about where you live, you know, and the people that pump the most money get the most in return. Not that I put in the most, but I'm just living off the gravy of my neighbors, you see. So at one time, it's kind of like, I have some people right next to me. I live close to what they call Sun City, where a bunch of old fucks lives, and they don't pay like school taxes, you know, because they don't have any schools there. And I was one of them told me, they said, well, we don't go to school. I said, well, you did at one time. I don't go to school either. I've never went to school, elementary school, junior high, or high school in Arizona. But guess what? My fucking kid did. And see, that's not how the system works. You do it when you pay perpetually for the purpose of having a school and infrastructure. Just like if you only had to pay for your fire when the firefighters came out, or when the police came, they gave you $1,000 bill. Say, okay, well, you called the police, 911. First of all, your ass wouldn't call. Secondly, they'd be billing you all the time. They come up with all kinds of shit. You find all kinds of cat burglars trying to get in your house, and you be coming up with like $2,000 or $3,000 bills. So the way the system works, it's a perpetual thing. You always pay for it. But these people have figured out a way to cheat the system. I don't have a kid. Well, you did. Didn't you get benefit of somebody? Now, they all moved from the Midwest and East Coast and, where it's snowy at. And they all went to school. They can read, write, and operate a car. So they all had some kind of education, right? And those motherfuckers come here and say, well, I don't want to pay for a school. Well, what the fuck do you think the people where you come from, do you think they wanted to pay for your sorry ass? They think, what the fuck is these people thinking? It's all about me. This is the me. It's all about me. How can I not pay my taxes? How can I get away with doing as little as possible for my fellow man? That's it. Yeah. Okay. So you got me on.
When they needed it, this system is.
Yeah,
terrible, bro.
They were getting there. See, that's the whole thing about it. People don't realize that. I had a conversation just this week. I was on another venue, and one of the guys chimed in, and he says, hey, I just got my student loan. And I said, huzzah for you, sir. That is great. I am glad that you got your fucking student loan paid off. And now my father, right?
Yep.
Okay. So, when I was a kid, about 18 years old, my father I had already graduated from high school at 17. So my father walks into the room. He said, "Hey, fucker, you're going to need to get a job or go to college." And, me, I said, "Nah, I don't really want to go to college. I'm a dumb fuck. I didn't realize the value in it." And, both my mother and my father had college degrees. So I didn't think that they were using them, and it didn't seem like they were making money off of them. So I said, "Hey, I'm going to go straight out there and start working.
Yeah.
So I had menial jobs, but my father was so mad at me, Kenny. He was mad. I mean, pissed at me.
What?
And you know what he was mad at? He was mad that I was squandering an opportunity that he never had. The foolishness of a youth, the going out there and, thinking, well, I didn't need that. Well, what he was trying to do was give me an advantage, and I was too dumbass to realize it. Okay? So he was angry with me, and I think right after that, he kicked my ass out of the house. Okay.
For real?
Yeah. Oh, he kicked me out when I was 17. That was it. He threw my ass out when I was 17. I never made it back. Because you ever seen me there?
Just a visit.
Yeah, there you go. So, there was an old song. I can't remember who made it. It says, "When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known." So, and that's, I didn't run away. They just kicked my ass out because I missed paying rent to my mom. I didn't get paid. So, I went in there and I asked my mom and said, "Hey, Mom, I only have this amount of money, so can I pay you next week?" And she said, "Sure." Of course, you know how my mom is, salt of the earth.
Yeah.
She's just kind. And she said, "Yeah." Well, my father came home and he was pissed. He says, "Hey, what the fuck? You're supposed to pay rent. I told your ass if you don't fucking start paying rent or going to college, you need to get the fuck out of here." So that was the end of my staying at the house. So, and I'm not one thing with age, Kenny, breeds wisdom, and the wisdom I understand. And with all these kids doing, paying for student loans, and that one guy, he's pretty close to my age. He's been paying student loan for almost all his life, and he was happy because Joe Biden got his student loans expunged. Another great deal of Joe Biden. But anyway, the guy was happy. He said, "Oh, I'm so happy to get out from underneath this fucking student loan. I must have paid for it 3 times. Well, shit, you pay for your car 3 times too, but you're not whining about that shit. But anyway.
Doctor? He's a doctor or something?
No, he's just a regular old fucking guy.
What would he pay? Just not paying for his student loan almost 500 years ago.
Well, because you borrowed the money, and, the student loans used to be like, really simple. But now they sold them to banksters, and banksters now got all these rules that keep you looped into the shit. I got a friend of mine. She has a doctorate of law degree. She has a master's degree, and she has a BA degree, okay, or a BS degree. Okay, so all of those. She is probably about 4 years younger than me. She's just now paying off her student loan. See? So that's what I'm saying. But let me tell you about my father's wisdom, okay? And I'm going to give him his props today. Today is Mother's Day. I miss my mother. Like, I'm sure you miss my mother too, but
yep.
I miss her with a burning passion. I love her. And I never forget the time I was fortunate to have her in my life. And and I'm sure you miss your mom because your mom was my mom's sister. So you know.
What was the number one thing, like when you was a kid, that you remember about your mom that put the biggest smile on your face, bro?
Oh, the biggest smile on my face was I saw her. And this is something, and I think I told it in her memorial service. I was a kid, a baby in a crib, and I looked up at my mom, and she was dancing. I could see it through the little bars of the crib, and she was dancing, and Wolfman Jack was on the fucking radio. And she was, it was some type of song. I don't remember the song. I wish I could. But, you know, you're a baby, so you don't have the thing to hold tune. But I just sit up there and look in amazement of my mom just bopping back and forth, listening to Wolfman Jack, you know. Yeah, there you go. And the interesting fact about Wolfman Jack is, you know, he used to have a radio station in Tijuana. And the reason why it was in Tijuana is because it had all this watts. So it could stretch all the way from fucking Baja, Mexico, all the way up to Los Angeles. Okay? So that's what she was listening to, Wolfman Jack. So, and every time I think about that and the first day of kindergarten where my mom, you know, I had a little ash on my face and she licks her fingers and rubs all the ash off my fucking face and stuff like that. Well, those was some of the best memories I ever had. And then also the times when I got late in life, when I had a teenager, and she always reminded me that I was no joy being a teenager. So she reminded me, so you wasn't no fucking basket of roses, my son. So anyway, but that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I remember that so well. And I remember, you know what, a long time ago, I used to have a little record. I see in the fire department, you get these messages that go to stations. So you didn't have a permanent station. So they would call you and get the message, and they'd leave the message on your message machine. Well, the message machine sometime would fuck up. So I had to get a backup message machine. And what it would do, every time you picked up the line got open, it would record it. So for years, that message machine was in there, and you put in like a 90-minute cassette tape, and it would record for 2 days.
What?
So every phone call that came into your house, you get it for 2 days. So I would have to change the fucking thing probably once a month. I'd pull out a cassette. Well, when my mom passed away, I used to put them in that cassette and listen to her all the time. Because we sit there and talk on the phone for all the time, and she'd impart all her great wisdom to me, and my mom was such an amazing thinker, you know, and I never really realized that until she was gone. So all of you that have a mom that you can go get a physical hug, do that today. And tell her that you love her, and tell her that she's, she means the world to you, because whatever you are in this world, you owe it to your mom, because she brought you here and she laid down the foundation. But anyway, I digress. But that was one of the things that, but going back to my father, I wanted to be a firefighter. And my father, you know how my father was. He was contrarian. He's told me, say, yeah, you're not gonna hire you as no fucking firefighter, you know, such. And he says, you know, he gave you that positive, negative reinforcement, right? Yeah. So what he said, no, they're not gonna fucking hire. He said, and if they do, I will buy your first fucking uniform. Well, you know what sits in my fucking closet today? The first fucking fire department uniform I ever owned was from my father, who had to eat his fucking words. So
he bought it?
Yes, he did, and it still hangs in my closet today. Yeah, so anyway, good times. But But one of the things that I didn't realize, I wanted to be a firefighter. So I talked to someone and they said, oh, you got to get your EMT certification. So I drove up to a college. It was San Gabriel College. And this is in the early 70s. So I go to the college and I say, oh, I want to sign up for EMT. And the lady says, okay. I said, I'll sign right here. And I signed up. And the lady hands me the book. He hands me the fucking college manual that you need, the study guide, EMT. Okay, and then she says, sign right here and be here on Saturday. It's an 8-hour class because it's like I think it's an 8-hour class every Saturday for like 15 weeks or something like that. So I had to do that. But the thing is, I didn't pay a fucking dime for it, Kenny. Not one fucking dime. And years later, I looked back to that and I said, that's what my father was trying to tell me, that the world was giving me something for free and I was pissing it off. See? Do you see the wisdom of that shit?
Yep.
So in California, you could go to any college and it was free. When I was young, you see what's wrong? When I was young, when I was old enough to go to college, it was 18 or something, that you could go to college for free. You just went down there and signed the motherfucker. There was no college fees and shit like that. There was nothing. You didn't pay shit. Now look at the world we are now.
Fuck up.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's why my father, and I always thought he was an asshole because he wanted me to do that. And now I find that he had golden wisdom beyond anything I could comprehend at 18 years old. So there you go. Anyway, okay. So let's go on. The next thing, we were talking about people getting things. I beat that fucking horse to death right now. So let's talk. Let's talk about something that that I don't think that many people know. We're looking at this world. You've listened to Ron DeSantis talking about this shit called anti-wokeness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're against wokeness. And Kenny, I didn't know this. I was listening to a podcast, okay? Because I listen to podcasts. I don't know every fucking thing. So I'm going to give you a little piece of humble pie. I don't know everything, but I'm willing to learn a little bit about a lot of things, okay? So this thing, I found out it was about the Wide Awakes. And this was a youth party in the 1860s. And they were so fucking amazing. They changed the face of America. And you've never heard of them, have you?
Nope.
Okay, well, let me tell you about these motherfuckers. They were teenagers in Connecticut, okay? And they were abolitionists. And before their time, the abolitionists never won shit. Not one single race, not nothing. They would run people on the Liberty Party and all these other fucking parties, and they wouldn't win shit. But these wide awake groups, they were a group of young kids that said they were tired of slavery. They were tired of what it was about. They were tired of a minority of rich-ass business owners telling the United States of America that they must always be a slave state for their benefit. See, because these people weren't getting any fucking benefit from it. So they stood against it. And their strategy, Kenny, was fucking amazing what they did. They got these little hats, like, little soldiers' hats and capes and torches, and they would march through the towns and get into fist fights and shit and protect abolitionists. So like if Frederick Douglass was speaking, they'd come out there and be his muscle and fight.
Oh, right.
Okay. So, and at the time of Lincoln, they said that they had about 500,000 people. Now, there was probably only like 30 million people, or 15 million people in the United States at that time, 1860. Maybe it was 20 million. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So these people had 500,000. Not even Black Lives Matters don't have no fucking 500,000 people, do they?
Nope.
They don't have 500,000 people to put in the streets. Now,
they got 5.
Yeah. So they may have some people to come out and some spectators to join them, but they don't have that kind of power. These teenagers did it from town to town to town, and their strategy was to lose fights. They did the rope-a-dope on people. So they'd go out and fight with these fucking pro-slavery people and get their ass kicked. Okay? Sometimes they won fights, but the most of the part, they were doing the rope-a-dope. They were getting their ass kicked, and then the whole town would have sympathy. Here's all these teenagers got their ass kicked for something they believed in, because they're working for a cause. And then more people would join them. More people would join them. And I told you, on the day that Lincoln won the presidency, they tried to off his ass in a hotel.
What?
They was trying to kill his ass. And these wide awakes, they offered to march in to Washington, D.C. with Lincoln to be his armor, his army, to protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he kind of turned that down, but I think he kind of needed them, didn't he? Because the end result wasn't a good one. So anyway, these white, and their symbol was an eye. Okay.
It was an eye?
It was an eye, an eye being that they're awake. And you know what they said they were awake? They were awake to the problems of America, that slavery was a problem, that we could not continue as a country of half enslaved and half free. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's what the woke was about. And then these Southern slavers, the new slavers that are out there now, the Ron DeSantises and all these, and the Trumpers and all these other fuckers who don't want you to be awoke because they don't want you to see the problems. See, Kenny, you see the problems, don't you? You say, you look at the world and you can see, because you're not ignorant. You're not stupid. You're not a person that can't see beyond your face, the nose on your face. You see that that the roads are fucked up, that some states don't want to pay shit. Some people want to be a welfare state. Some states don't want to. Go ahead.
They're stealing money and shit, bro.
Yeah, that's it.
They're going to say they allocate the money to them, but it's up to your state to get the work done. But where the money goes?
Yeah, because they find fucking ways of doing it, like Mississippi and all these other places where they give them money to fix the water lines, and then they get their friends in there and they do a half-ass job. So now they're still haven't done it, and the government's tired of paying their money over and over again because they don't give a fuck about the people. All they give a fuck about is themselves. But anyway, I digress. But these people really amaze me. And the guy who was telling the story says, the reason why you didn't know anything about them is because they won. They were the first group of people to join the Civil War. They were the winners of the Civil War, these wide awakes. Okay, they went on to become, instrumental in the country. They become generals and soldiers and stuff like that. But they won. It wasn't like the South, who has that grievance bullshit about the South would always rise again, because they got their ass handed to them, But these people won. So they were the victors. And the sad part is we never learned the lesson of history from them. Now, ain't that some shit, Kenny?
Unbelievable. But they gonna hide all that shit, bro. They hiding everything. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but can't something so instrumental that changed the course of history? You think that would have been taught in kindergarten?
Because they're lying about Columbus discovering America. How did you discover this?
Well, you can't discover. I can't go into Beverly Hills and say I discovered Frank Sinatra's house. Can I?
But they want to teach you that. You know what I mean?
Oh, they want to tell you that shit. But that's what I'm talking about. And that's why college, all of this, what you got to understand, Kenny, is you either have government working for you or working against you. Now, for the most part, for the last 40 or 50 years, government has been working against your ass. Okay? Yep. They want to tell you that, the government doesn't owe you anything. You've heard all these fucking sorry fucks get in front of, I remember the thing about Barack Obama, and everybody was talking about, when he said you didn't build this, and all these people, I build everything. And I've said this again once before in a podcast. I said, what road did you build? What state did you build? What government did you build? What, regulations did you build? All that was built for you. That was the infrastructure of America. But these motherfuckers always think that just because I designed it or I made some new product, that it was all me. No, it was because government allowed you to do that. Now, I had a friend of mine who's a staunch Republican, but he was talking about the AK-47. Do you know about the AK-47? Probably one of the most effective killing machines ever made. And the guy who made the fucking AK-47 made it in Russia, and he probably got a bonus because it was all cooperative. So he never made a lot of money. He said, that's a damn shame. That guy didn't make his money. He didn't make any money off of that fucking thing. He didn't make any money off of the patent off the AK-47. Okay. Well, now you're talking about that, but this country gives you that capability. If you made the AK-47, you go to the patent office and get a patent on it, and they give you a patent for 10, 15 years, and then every person who makes one gives you a little taste of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of these motherfuckers who complain and talk about, that they didn't build it, what's the structure that was already built that helped them become rich and powerful? But they don't want to pay shit. The average rich man, they had an article, they only pay 3%. Do you pay 3% taxes on your money?
Hell no.
Well, I know. Shit, I'm happy if I can get away with 15, 20%. I'm a happy camper. Oh, fuck, I only had to pay Uncle Sam 15, 20%. Okay? So why do those motherfuckers get more of the gravy off of the plate and pay the lease?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, it is.
We need to set that system, dude, and change.
Well, the system, but it's all about capitalism. I am not, see, a lot of people say, oh, you're against capitalism. I'm not against capitalism. I'm against cooperative capitalism. I'm talking about capitalism that doesn't allow anybody else. to get anything. Okay, just think about if Henry Ford was vulture capitalist. That's what they call him. Well, Henry Ford got the first car to market, and then he got a patent on it, and nobody else could bring a car to market. Okay, nobody else can bring. Nobody else. There wouldn't be any Dodge. There wouldn't be any Studebaker. There wouldn't be any Packard. All of these companies were instrumental in making the automobile better. Okay, so why? And then now they're having these, what they call the social media people, and they all own their own little individual worlds. You got your Googles, you got your fucking Facebook, you got your TikTok, you got your Instagram, X, that fucking thing. So, they all got their own little, thing that. And they don't want the government to tell them shit. They don't want any competition. We don't want any competition. They want to pull up the drawbridge. But anyway, that's what I'm saying. I'm not against capitalism. I think that people should be allowed to make other things. Like you can't use capitalism to stifle creativeness. Okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't stop. Like, I'll tell you one thing that I know for sure. I know for sure that the Windows operating system is probably one of the worst fucking operating systems ever to exist.
Yep.
But they capitalized and got every other fucking company out because they gave that shit away. Okay? They gave it away. And the government caught them, and they said, oh, well, we caught you, but hey, wink, wink, we'll let you slide. So that's why every fucking computer you buy has a Windows operating system in it, except for an Apple. And then you can buy those other things. What's the Linux or something? Linux? Those are other. But Linux, you ain't going to get any software for it. It's all open source. So if you want second-class software, you can do that. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to put a link to this because I don't do these young guys justice. They did an amazing job. And if you think they were the one who Lincoln didn't give a fuck about, he was against slavery, but he wasn't going to do anything about it. Okay? Yeah. He wasn't going to be the person to free the slave. That wasn't his modus operandi when he became president. Okay? So that wasn't what he was thinking to do. But these people helped change his mind, change the course of American history. Okay. So I'm going to link a couple of articles and this podcast to in the show notes and let people be amazed because it is a simply amazing story. Now, let's talk about the Trump trial there, Kenny. Give me your take.
The Trump trial?
Yeah. Okay.
They ain't gonna be able to prosecute him on nothing, man.
You don't think he's gonna say? Why do you think that, Kenny? Do you believe that he's above the law, or you think that?
No.
Okay.
Because the majority of this shit is kind of. We got worse fucking problems than worrying about what Trump did with some fucking woman and money.
Well, well, Kenny, that's not what it's about. It's about election interference. See, everybody say it's hush money.
That one. You talking about that one.
Yeah.
He got about, 6 fucking cases against him?
Oh, yeah, but they've already stifled them motherfuckers. The Supreme Court has gave them cover. That judge in Florida has given them cover. And so the federal cases, that's what happens when you get all these judges from that, what do they call that fucking society? Come on, it'll come to me in a minute. Anyway, the Federalist Society, or that guy, Leonard Leo, has been grooming judges for 30 years, and they're all like little secret spies in there. All of them are.
Society.
Yes, a secret society to protect corporate interests, not your interests, not America's interests, corporate interests.
So everybody gets paid. Everybody getting a little something,
Well, we were all. We're all thinking, oh, that's a good thing. These people are, they're originalists. Some motherfuckers aren't originalists to anything. All they care about is the mighty dollar and who's paying them. That's what they give a fuck about. They don't have a fucking, they don't have a moral core in their fucking soul. Like, I had a friend, and this is really troubling to me. I had a friend of mine, and he's a conservative, and I was talking to him, and we got into a thing, and he proceeded to tell me. Now, I'm not going to say this is indicative of every Republican. I'm not going to say that. But he started telling me about how great 14-year-old girls are. It's a grown man. And I told him, I said, you know what? In my whole fucking life, I have never had a thought about how sensual 14-year-old girls are.
And he a Republican?
Yeah. And I thought to myself, maybe that might be the answer, that these people don't have core values. They'll tell you that we're pedophiles, that Democrats are pedophiles, and that they're, they do this and they do that. They got a pizza parlor with child slaves underneath it, but they're not. You don't find a lot of them. You don't find. I'm sure there are some, but there's more of them like that. So, and I thought to myself, I have never in my life, and I thought, all my life I thought this guy, hey, he's a good guy. We've been knowing each other for years, more decades on decades. And he used to joke about that, but he finally told me that. He said, oh, yeah, I just love young girls. I said, are you kidding me? I said, I did not think about a 14-year-old girl until I was 14.
What fuck kind of dude is that, bro?
That's what I'm trying to say. So if they're devoid from any more, and I'm not saying they all are, but I'm saying doesn't that make sense to you when you look at Donald Trump and you see that this motherfucker has done all kinds of crooked shit? He led a revolt at the Capitol. He fucking lied about every fucking thing. He lies every time his mouth is moving. He's lying, but people love him. And they'll sit up here and tell you that he's on the same level as Jesus Christ. Now, come on. He's my savior. He's like the second coming of God. Sent him here. Now, how fucked up do you have to be to believe some shit like that?
That shit crazy.
I mean, and so, but let me reiterate. There has to be something wrong with you. Okay? There has to be something in your head that makes you think that's all right. See? And some people make these, I heard one of them say, oh, well, it's, God's picks imperfect people to spread his message. Okay? But that's after they repent. That's after they've seen the light. That's after they've seen the error of their ways and move forward. He's not going to get Hannibal Lecter to come out there and kill fucking people and then say, well, he's my guardian. He's the guy I sent here to correct you. Well, what the fuck? I mean, does that make sense to you? What I'm trying to say, doesn't it make sense that these people, they don't have a core? There's some things I would never do. I would never be looking at a 14-year-old girl. I would never vote for somebody that, is a crook.
Mm-hmm.
I said, it's hard for me to vote for Biden, but I only get two choices, don't I? It's either, well, there's three choices, but the other one, we already know that that he's got a brain worm in his head, and a brain worm died of starvation because he ain't got a brain in his fucking skull.
Who was that?
Robert Kennedy Jr. You didn't hear the fucking news this week?
He got a brain worm in his head?
He's got a dead worm in his fucking head.
Oh, so he ain't got no problem if the worm is dead. So.
Fuck, would you vote for somebody who tells you that he had cognitive issues because he had a brain worm in his head?
Well, the way he talked, I don't like the way he talked. His voice.
Oh yeah, that's a rough. His sister talks like that too. I think that's some family ailment that they all have. But no, what I'm saying is this motherfucker I wouldn't run for president if I had a brain worm in my fucking head.
But it's dead though, right?
It may be dead, but how much of this fucking brain did he eat out of there? Huh? That may be the critical fucking shit that he needs to decide if he's going to fire on the Soviets or fucking sit there in a lawn chair by the pool in the White House. Okay? I don't know what part of his brain that fucking worm is, but I tell you one fucking thing. Between the three of them, that there's probably the only choice, and like I said, you have heard me be very critical of Joe Biden about this Israeli war, right?
Yeah.
I've been critical, and I said, from the first start of this war, me and you, and we were in agreement, because I don't know where you fall on the spectrum of conservative or liberal. I know you're probably more liberal than conservative, but we were both on the same page after about a couple of weeks of this war, saying, hey, this is bullshit. They're sending weapons over there to kill people. And then this week comes out, because we're just flopping from topic to topic, but the Trump trials, what I'm trying to say is, if you look at it, I think, he may not get convicted, that's all right, but it's already shown that the guy has no self-control. He's sitting in court. Now, I know you were a police officer, right?
Yep.
You know how to comport yourself in a fucking courtroom, don't you, Kenny?
Yep.
Okay. You don't sit up there and curse while the judge is speaking. You don't say shit, do you, Kenny?
Hell no.
If you're a fucking defendant in a criminal case, you don't say shit. You don't open your mouth. You try to look like a choir boy every time you go in that fucking courtroom, right?
Yep.
Now, this motherfucker, he goes in there and sits there and says, hey, the judge ain't worth a shit, and and I can curse and he can talk all, and the fucking judge tells his lawyer, said, hey, I can auditively, or I can hear your client cursing over there. Now that fucker he doesn't have any compulsive control. Okay. That's the one thing. Okay. And they probably taught you that when they sent you to cop school, that you're supposed to keep your fucking emotions in check. A professional keeps his emotions in check. You don't know how many fucking times I wanted to strangle some stupid motherfucker on a call on the fire department. It is legendary, but I am a professional. My job was not to inflict pain or punishment on there. My job was to protect the public. Okay? I seen all kinds of crazy ass shit. I've seen I told you about the baby that guy came home drunk, and he laid on his little 6 months old baby and suffocated her. and then woke up, and then he wanted to fight everybody in the room. And I told him, it's a bad Jew. I said, bad. You wouldn't want to do that because everybody here wants a piece of your ass. So all you would be doing is inviting something bad to happen to you. It's just a piece of advice, you know? But that guy was smart enough to take it, right? Now, what do you think about, why do you think Trump thinks he can get away with that? Because these people have condoned his fucking actions. And see, the sad part is going back with the name of this podcast, he's going to own all of our asses. Okay? If he becomes president, we're done, baby. You know? There's no...
But
go ahead.
He got... Oh, yeah, because he did 4 years already, so he going to do another 4 if he wins.
Well, he'll do 4, but he'll just change all the laws so that he'll never has to go. It'll run down from his family. Look how he's taken over the Republican Party. He's got his daughter-in-law in charge of the Republican Party. His son, Barron, is going to be on the a delegate in the Florida convention at 18 years old. He's got his whole and his sons. So what I'm saying to you, he's an existential threat to the United States of America. I truly believe that. I know you don't have to agree with it, but I believe he is a threat, okay? And I hope that these people find him guilty. Now, he may not get any jail time because this is his first offense, okay? He may get probation, okay? But, and he may just get 6 months, whatever. But I think that people call it hush money trial. It's not. What he was doing, he had already had that Access Hollywood tape where he told everybody, you can grab women by the pussy. I love kissing women. And what mindset of any individual, even if I was, I used to be a good looking man when I was younger there, Kenny, believe it or not. And I never thought I could grab a woman by the pussy. Okay?
Yeah, Kenny, I used to be funny.
Yeah, grab a woman by the pussy and stuff like that. One time when I was a petulant teenager, I pinched a woman on the breast, and she put a straight razor to my throat.
What?
It was going to cut my throat right there. She said, motherfucker, you ever touch my breast again, I'll cut your throat and put your nuts in your mouth. Or put your nuts in the hole that I put from cutting your throat. I said, oh, baby. So I don't think if he would have found a woman like that, he would never say that. Okay. So I learned real quick time that ain't the thing to do.
You know who I haven't seen? Where's his wife at?
Oh, she don't want to hang around that fucker.
She ain't in the news, nothing.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think she's been at a couple of the campaign things that he's gone, but she hasn't been hanging out with him. So anyway, but you think that it's not an important trial. Is that what you're saying, Kenny?
Yeah. If they should have been convicted him on some shit already.
Well, see, that's what happens when you have unlimited money. See, that's what's wrong with our system. There should be so many appeals, and after you get your appeals, unless you come up with some new evidence, real new evidence, then you could get another appeal. But this guy, because he has unlimited, the guy's spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars to stay in court. Okay, the only person that's equal to him is the government because they have unlimited money. Okay, so that's what he's doing. He's playing out the clock, and he's already got 3 people on the Supreme Court that he put in there. And did you hear that farcical shit that they came up to the Supreme Court saying, the president can take SEAL Team 6 and kill somebody that he thinks was a threat. And then they said, well, we'd like to hear more about this. Now, what kind of stupid motherfucker? That shows you that those people are asking those questions and the person is saying are lost without a moral core. They don't believe in this country. They don't believe in shit but the power of money. Well, that sounds like a reasonable thing to say. Now, if Joe Biden took SEAL teams and said, well, I think Donald Trump, just like me, he thinks Donald Trump is an existential threat to the United States of America, and said, I think that America would be better off without him. Do you think they'd agree to that shit? Huh? All his friends and cohorts on the Supreme Court? The 6 conservatives on the Supreme Court would say, oh, yeah, Joe Biden could kill him. But they're considering if that's something that could be done, that he would have immunity for, Kenny.
Well, he said it in the beginning, right? I could go walk down the street and shoot somebody.
But that was just when he was fucking running for president. He just said that. He said, I could lose. I could go out on Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and get and not lose a single vote. Okay, now ain't that some shit? Now we got some goofy motherfuckers in the Supreme Court trying to say, hey. Yeah, that's okay. We'll consider that. Well, all they're doing is buying him time so that he doesn't get prosecuted before the election. See, because they rigged it. 3 of those fuckers that are on there helped get George W. Bush as president when he lost Florida. Okay,
they paid that dude off who he was running against off, huh?
Who?
The one talking about climate change. What's the fucking dude he was running against?
Kennedy?
No. Bush. When Bush was running
Gore?
against...
No, they didn't pay him off. He just believed in the country and he didn't want to upset it. And then the Supreme Court's supposed to be the final word. So these guys on the Supreme Court, Sandra Day O'Connor wanted to retire because her husband had dementia. So she wanted to be home with him, and she didn't want a Democrat to pick her successor. So she voted to allow him to win. And the court case said, just this one time, we'll decide. And they said that George Bush would be irreparable harm if they were able to count the votes. Well, why couldn't that be the same thing for Al Gore? He was irreparable harm, but it only counted for George Bush.
Yeah.
You see? Anyway, but that's how John Roberts got to be Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, because he was one of the lawyers that helped that bullshit happen. Went down there and did the, what do they call it? The Brooks Brothers riot at the what is it? I can't remember the county, but anyway, look it up. It's true. Okay. Now, before we get off here, we only got a few minutes left. Let's talk about Joe Biden. Stop sending aid. We had already talked about it, but let's take a little deeper dive in there. I'm still disappointed in Joe because he should have done this a long time ago. Yeah. Because BB is trying to fuck him. Okay, he's getting, they're using this as all the college kids are pissed off because they're on the side of peace and the Palestinians. And hey, there's no doubt about it. I read there was a report that came out by the State Department trying to say there's no discernible evidence of the Israelis using the weapons. Let me see here. I think cause and effect should be put in place here. You blow up, you've destroyed all the hospitals, you stopped food from coming in there, and then they said, well, maybe, don't play fucking stupid with me, motherfucker. I know exactly. If you want to kill off of people, you blow up their fucking hospitals, you stop them from having food and shit like that. turn off their power, their infrastructure, and bomb their fucking houses, and you're going to tell me you can't figure it out? The greatest minds in the world, the biggest political army the biggest industrialized army in the world, and you can't figure shit out? You got satellites that can read the date of a dime on the ground in Palestine, and you're going to tell me you can't figure out if they're trying to systematically destroy people? You're a fucking liar, and you're full of shit. And I'm stating it right to your fucking face.
Scally.
I ain't fucking lying. You're the motherfuckers that are lying. See, you can try to turn a phrase, but that's what these people, these children, and not children, these young adults in colleges, they ain't stupid either. Huh? They're spending they're paying $60,000 a semester for college, and you think they're so fucking stupid to buy your bullshit that you're going to tell me you can tell a fart in the jungle, you can tell a monkey farting in the jungle, but you can't tell if Israel is committing atrocities in fucking Palestine, in Gaza. I don't have to. All I got to do is look at the fucking pictures, man. I don't have to have no fucking highbrow shit.
I wonder why Russia and them ain't jumping to that wall, bro.
Fuck, because they don't give a fuck about that. Russia don't give a fuck about people. They give a fuck about power. They don't give a fuck about their own people. Huh? If you want to be entertained, go on YouTube and watch Russian dash cams. And the reason why is because everybody in Russia got a dash cam, because that's the only way they're going to get somebody to pay for an automobile accident. Because there's no infrastructure, no law system, no nothing. You got to come in the evidence and prove your case. The police ain't going to say, oh, this person is at fault, because they just don't do that kind of shit. So, it's the closest thing to a fucking, anarchy that you can live in,
Mm-hmm.
So these motherfuckers, they don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck if their people are dying. They don't give a shit. All they care about if they can get conscripts and that they can make money off of whatever it is. They are America on steroids. Capitalism on steroids. But they got oligarchs. We have oligarchs, but their oligarchs are put into power by the government. Ours are just made by luck and money, or being in the right place at the right time. Sometimes smarts, but being in the right place at the right time. That's how we make our oligarchs. But Vladimir Putin made them oligarchs. He gave them industries. He took over the industries and gave it to his cronies. And you don't think that buys you loyalty? You got another thing coming. So, anyway, that's our show. We covered some shit today again, Kenny. We fucking we learned how the young group of 19 years old people from Connecticut in the 1860s propelled Abraham Lincoln to be the president, end slavery, and change the face of a nation. And no fucking body knows anything about it.
That's crazy, huh?
And they were the wide awakes, and everybody wants to stop you from being woke. And you know why? Because if you woke, you're conscious. You know of what's going on. See? You know who is fucking you. See? If you sleep real sound and you're in prison and somebody's fucking you in the ass, nobody knows. You don't know. But if you're awake, you got to endure the pain, right? Yeah. So that's what these motherfuckers, they want everybody. That's why they blow smoke in your ass. Now, for next week, I want to talk about, there's so many things in history that are, that would teach us why we're here and are like little warning sign, caution, do not go down this street. Don't do this. Stop. Think. But the sad thing is they don't teach enough history. And when they, just like right now, all of the southern states trying to even my stupid ass state, they want to change. They want to say, oh, these books are too controversial. We don't want to have books about Martin Luther King. We don't want to have books about Ruby Bridges. We don't want to face our demons. But you see, any person that's suffered mental illness or drug abuse or any challenge in life will tell you one thing, Kenny. You have to turn and face it and look that devil in the eye and say, I'm not that person anymore. And the people who want you to be the same person are the slavers, the racists, the people who have benefited from the corruption. They want you to stay just the way you are. They want your ass ignorant and stupid just the way the rest that most of the country has proven itself to be. And what our little podcast is to give you just a little dose, just a little dose of some intelligence, tell you a little bit to think about. You don't have to believe everything we say. History's our fucking cheat sheet. Go back and look at it. It'll tell you volumes of stuff. Anyway, Kenny, okay, let's roll it out there, baby. We're going to go with Die in Vain because the fucking war is still going on.
Yes, sir.
The world is spinning out of control, a never-ending cycle of blood and soul. Families torn apart, children left alone, as they march to the battlefield with hearts of stone. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain. Bombs exploding, bullets flying all around us. There's no denying the horror of war. The price we pay for our leaders, greed, day after day. Why are they killing everyone? Is it worth the damage done? Our tears fall like the rain as we watch them die in vain.
Scalawag and Big Kenny out.